Hi, I'm Nathaniel Stoudemire, and today I'm in my parents' room for a recording because my brother is back from college and he works night shift, and right now he's sleeping, so I had to find a different place to record. Also, the book I want to talk to you today is from my dad's collection, so I figured it was also kind of fitting. It's up here because I'm a good little boy and put the books back. I would like to talk to you about Robert E. Howard's Pirate Adventures. Now, this book is a collection of pirate stories written by Robert E. Howard. And one interesting about this is none of these were actually published in a magazine while Robert E. Howard was alive. He tried really hard to because he really liked stories of the high seas and stuff, but they never got published. He couldn't find a market, which is sad because the stories are really good. They're not just like normal trunk stories of some author who they dig out to make a collection after they're dead and they're not really good. And it's like, I mean, if you're really, really into the guy, maybe you might want to look at them. No, these are good stories. And I'm very grateful to the Robert E. Howard Foundation Press to do it. They're, look them up. They're a group. They've been pulling out all of the manuscripts and drafts of Robert E. Howard and publishing them in these nice collections. My dad has a couple others, so he has some other things of Robert E. Howard. This top shelf up here, you can't really see it, but it's all pulp stuff. That one and the one above, like he has Perry Mason and Edgar Wallace and like Edgar Rice Burroughs. It's he has bookshelves that make me jealous. I'm like over here, all Doctor Who, like you can see the Dalek. It's really cool. But back to the book. This book has some short stories and then some previous drafts of short stories and some poems, and it is really good. The best thing I can compare this to is On Stranger's Tides. Both the fourth Pirates of the Caribbean movie, which is my favorite, and I'll fight you on that, and the book that was the movie's namesake, Tim Powers' On Stranger Tides. I'll have a picture of it up here. That is a really underrated one, and if you like Pirates of the Caribbean and you want something kind of like it, Tim Powers, it's great. The sad thing is, after that, I have not been able to find anything that captures the same piratey vibe until this thing. And it has like the same vibe. They're really good. The stories are good. There's like Swords of the Red Brotherhood, which is like that was the best. It's like there's a lost gold in a temple, and there's like a duke from France who's shipwrecked there, and then more pirates come and they all get shipwrecked and they have to figure out what to do. And most of these are following this character called Black Volma, who is an Irish pirate captain, and he was one of the ones. Think kind of like Solomon Kane or Conan the Barbarian. Robert E. Howard had like characters that were in multiple short stories. I really like that idea. Like they're all standalones, and it doesn't ever escalate. Which that might be a different video of how I actually really like stories that don't escalate that far into like save the world. But they're really good in like the poems. There's some really good poems. You can tell that Robert E. Howard really, really liked pirates. I mean, it says in the introduction, like some of the book in an essay Robert E. Howard wrote. I'll find the exact quote. Um, in a high school essay, some people who have had an influence on me. This is a quote that the introduction by Rob Roham writes. First and foremost on this list appear, of course, my parents, but they're also kind of fitting where I'm recording this. My parents are great, but are Captain Kidd and Blackbeard and Morgan. He wanted Robert D. Howard actually wanted to be a pirate until he read the end of the book he had on pirates and found out the pirates get killed. I just find that really, really funny. I mean, he was a little kid then, but like, yeah, this anthology is great. There's some really funny poems, and there's a couple like for the really Robert E. Howard collectors. There are some drafts and stuff in the back, like uncompleted fragments and synopses. And if you like to see behind the scenes on some really good authors, it was actually interesting. And that's the other thing I wanted to talk to you about. The drafts. Like, the last 100 pages are drafts and some poems. The poems are still good. Like, all the poems I completed. But there's quite a few unfinished drafts. One of them is a rough draft of one of the stories he eventually finished. And that one, he just got to a certain point, and it's pretty similar. It's just like he came through later and like punched it up. I do that too. Like, that's what I'm doing now. I had a story I wrote a while back, and I'm working on redoing it when I have time. And I'm just going through, and the stuff I already wrote, I'm just trying to make it a little bit better, and then I'm adding a couple of chapters in. But what he did is when he got tired of doing it, he just summarized in like a paragraph or two paragraphs what he was going to do, how to end the thing, and then he stopped, which is very smart. Number one, so you know where you're going, and secondly, I get the feeling with specifically with a typewriter, because like it's kind of hard to stop. Like, I've used a typewriter before. Like, some of my first stories were written on a typewriter. I think I showed it to you. Anyway, it's kind of hard to like stop a draft in the middle and come back for it later, because like your spot gets messed up, and it's always better to just like knock out a couple sentences, and like if you need to go back, you rewrite the thing from scratch, because you have to like crossing stuff out and editing with a typewriter doesn't work. But that one story was finished, but a lot of them weren't. And the thing is, I am a strong proponent that if you want to write, you need to commit and you need to get stuff done. Like, that's why I really liked NaNoWriMo, is that it was a place that you could say, you have a month. You're going to buckle down and you're going to get something done. Because just writing the beginning of a million stories is not going to teach you very much. If you just keep writing the first 4 chapters, you're going to be able to write a really good 4 chapters, maybe? But that's not the full, and you learn a lot more by finishing the novel. Learning to write a beginning, middle, and end than not. However, it is still okay to stop stuff. If a story just absolutely isn't working for you, you don't have to buckle down and finish it. A lot of my stories, sometimes I get excited and try to start it, and then I figure out it's kind of broken. That's what I call it. Story's broken. Maybe I did a crazy tone shift, or when I was looking at it more, I don't know how I can pull off a full, tight, intrigue-filled story with the amount of world building that needs done. Or the more recent one, I was trying to do a thing for the ARC Prize. Look up ARC Prize, it's really cool. But when I was working on it, I got it. I had an idea, but I didn't think all of the idea through, and I had to stop it because I had a beginning, and a kind of end, but the middle was a vast void, and I had absolutely no clue what to fill it in. And I had to stop that idea. And it's not just beginner writers who quit. I mean, Robert E. Howard, there's volumes of stuff he didn't finish. My dad down here, they probably, half of Tolkien's published writing now is stuff he didn't finish. Like, what is it? He did a time travel one that, of Middle Earth that tied into normal Earth. And I don't count it canon because I love Middle Earth being secondary world. And I can be selective for what it is. If it's other writings, I don't have to believe it. But there's a lot of stuff, like, people start and stop stories all the time. If you can't finish a story, period, that is a problem, but also stopping things is part of being a writer. Sometimes it just happens, and sometimes it's the better for it, because, like, if Tolkien hadn't stopped and started Silmarillion as many times as he had, maybe he would have focused on that instead of the Lord of the Rings. I know, technically, I know there was also publisher stuff of, they didn't want the Silmarillion, and Tolkien was like, okay, I'll find something else. But I'm not sure Tolkien would have exactly, even The Hobbit, I'm not sure if it would have been the same if he hadn't been working on and starting and stopping all of his other projects. Yes, he was still working on Silmarillion throughout, but, you can never tell how projects you work on is going to shape you later. Like, when I was way younger, I had my magnum opus series. I was working really hard on it. And then I kind of got tired and stopped. And I created this other series, which also is not even worth seeing the light of day at the current moment. But that other series was like the turning point where my prose and stuff really clicked. And I started moving from 14, 15 year, I don't even know how old I was. Young kid not actually knowing how to write and fumbling around into the dark, putting words together to make cool stories, but not really good novels, to prose that was still awful grammar wise, and I didn't learn grammar until later, but was way better with description and stuff. And if I didn't get the tone shift and was trying to nail down something else, it never had happened. You don't know. And so ultimately, if you do have something you're working on, a project, and I'm talking about writing specifically, but it doesn't have to. Maybe like YouTube, you have a YouTube channel and you really wanted to do it, and then you kind of have other things get in the way. Don't stress your out stuff about it out about not getting it done. It's okay to take breaks. It's okay to put things on hold. Maybe you'll be like Robert E. Howard with Black Vilma's Vengeance, and you'll come back to it later and make a really good story about like revenge and learn and like someone forgiving someone else. Or maybe it'll just be another thing under your belt. That knowledge for later. Who can tell? Anyway, thank you for watching this video. Sorry it's been so long. I've been pretty busy with life and I haven't been able to do YouTube videos, but I'm hoping to start up a lot more going forward. Thank you for watching. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe. I do book reviews, but also like world building stuff and writing. And I also think I'm going to get into some more history stuff, because like the history specifically like societal history and world building, those go well together. And books, and also like literature, and I don't know. This channel is for whatever I want to do. And if you think, oh, this might be something interesting, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!